Hello, my name is Keisha and this is my daughter.
Alina.
Welcome to the very first video of Reading Muggles. We are basically a family that loves to read, and we just wanted to share our love of reading with you, with the adults, with the preteens, with the kids out there. So hopefully you like our video. If you do, please like, subscribe, and click the notification button so you know when the next video is posted and you're the first to be notified. We plan to release hopefully a video on a weekly basis where we are going to discuss books that we have either read or are currently reading, our thoughts on it, share them with you. What is it that we are planning to read in the future? We are just going with the flow at this point, and just please be gentle. Join us in this journey while we discover ourselves and we discover the wonderful world of books that is out there. So without further ado, let us begin. I'm going to first reach out to my daughter Alina, who has actually two books that she wants to talk about. One which she has already read, and the second that she hopes to read she's already started and wants to finish in the next upcoming few weeks. So Alina, which is the book that you want to discuss with the young viewers out there that you have read and that you really enjoyed? You want to tell us something about it?
It's called The One and Only Ivan.
And it is written by who, Alina? Who's the author?
Katherine Applegate.
Oh, okay. So who are the characters? Tell us some of the main characters in the book.
There's Ivan, who's a gorilla. There's Ruby, who's a baby elephant. There's Bob, who's a dog. And there's Stella, who's an older elephant. There's Julia, who likes art. Her dad works as a caretaker there. And there's Mac, who owns the place.
Who owns the place? Okay, so what is the story about, Alina? You want to tell us a little bit about the story?
It's basically about Ivan trying to get out of a circus because he doesn't like staying and getting watched by humans.
Mm-hmm.
And he feels like going back to his home.
Okay, and what about Stella and Ruby? Is there some story around that as well?
Mm-hmm. Stella has like a hurt foot, so she can't really walk around the place. So she told Ivan to keep Ruby safe,
Mm-hmm.
and to try to find her home too.
So basically Stella is an older elephant who has hurt herself. So she knows that she won't be alive for a very long time. So she wants Ivan to basically help Ruby, who is a younger elephant, escape the circus and find a way home. Right? What is the lesson that you learned from this book, Alina, that you really liked, and the reason why you were after me to buy this book so much?
To keep the animals free and no one should capture them.
Nobody to capture them, because where should they be living? In cages, or
they should be living in their homes.
In the homes in the wild, right? So it's a good message for the kids about freedom and not capturing, having animals in captivity, and especially around circuses. There's a lot of controversy around around circuses and how they treat animals. So yeah, so this is I would recommend this book that Alina talked about, The One and Only Ivan, by Katherine Applegate. This has now been turned into a movie. And Alina, did you like the movie or did you like the book? The book? Why is that? Was there more in the book than in the movie, you feel?
Yeah.
There was more depth? Okay. So there is a book out there. Kids may have seen it, but we have a rule in our house that if there is a movie that comes out based on a book, we need to read the book first before we watch the movie. So that's all about One and Only Ivan. So which is the next book, Alina, that you plan on reading, and hopefully in a future episode you want to talk about it?
It's called The Secret Garden.
The Secret Garden. Have you started it yet? You started into 4 chapters, right? So Secret Garden is a book that I grew up reading about, and I highly recommend it for all kids, boys or girls. Doesn't matter. It's a good book. It's about overcoming a lot of things. So I like The Secret Garden a lot. So this is on her bookshelf, her TBR to read, and hopefully if she finishes in time, maybe for next episode, we may review this as well. So coming for the adult section, like I have mentioned before, we are a family that loves to read. I grew up reading a lot. I am a certified bookworm, always nose in the book. At one point, last few years, I have fallen off the wagon. I'm going to be very honest. Did not read a lot. Got busy with work, with kids, social media. I mean, that was my biggest downfall. Like I was always on my phone, looking at it, browsing it mindlessly for no reason. And honestly, 2020 made me realize that what a lot of time I was wasting on it. So hopefully 2021, my resolution is to go back to reading more. There was a time I was reading like 60, 70 books in a year, and that was nothing. It was easy for me to do. So I want to slowly go back to that. So my objective this year is to read at least 12 books, 1 book a month. I'm starting slow, and hopefully I hope that I can do more than 12. So as far as the genres that I prefer mystery, fantasy, sci-fi. Those are my favorite. But that does not mean that I don't read other stuff. I do read true crime. I do read self-help books. I do read nonfiction. They're all out there, but just in the bed, under the comforters, I'll always reach for a mystery or a fantasy or a sci-fi. That's the book those are the genres that I reach for. Now for mystery, I always like a good whodunit. A huge Agatha Christie fan. Own all her books. Read all the Sherlock Holmes. Those are the kind of stuff that draws me into a good whodunit. I'm always on a hunt for a good one. And the one that I found a few years ago is the Bartholomew Chronicles by Susanna Gregory. So this book just drew me into it. And the one thing that really attracts me about a book, it's not so much the cover, it's the title. And the first book is called A Plague on Both Your Houses. I just loved this title, and I was like, okay, this looks so good. So just based on the title, I picked it up. Not a bad decision at all. So something about the series, there are 23 chronicles already published, 24th is coming out. I have already pre-ordered it. Hopefully I'll get it by end of January, beginning of Feb, and maybe I can talk about it in one of the future episodes. But a little bit about the chronicles. It's set in 14th century England in Cambridge University. The main protagonist is Matthew Bartholomew, who is actually a physician at one of the colleges, Michael House, at Cambridge University back then. Michael House as a college does not exist anymore for people who may be interested in history. It was amalgamated with King's Hall, which was also a college back in 14th century by Henry VIII. And it is now what is called the Trinity College at Cambridge University. So Trinity College is basically a mixture of Michael House and King's Hall. But the main protagonist is from Michael House. And basically the first book is when plague hits England, goes in very, very good description about the conditions that people were suffering in 14th century England, the stark differences between the rich and the poor, and how people were struggling with the illness and the plague that was spreading like wildfire, and especially the struggles of the physicians at that time and how they were tackling it is the backdrop, or for the most part, and in some sections of the book actually is the forefront of the story. It's really well done. I could never figure out who was the culprit. read it many times over, and I still reread these books. So highly recommend it. That's Matthew Bartholomew Chronicles by Susanna Gregory. In the next video, I would like to discuss the Homecoming series by Orson Scott Card. He is very famously known by his other book, The Ender's Game, which is absolutely phenomenal. I do like the Homecoming series too. It's hard for me to classify. It's sci-fi / fantasy all rolled into one. I love it. 5 books. So in the next video, please look forward to my review on the Homecoming series by Orson Scott Card. Also, please, if you have any recommendations or any books that you would like us to review, both adult, preteen, kids, even children, please comment down below, and I will definitely take that into consideration and hopefully maybe include them in the next episode that we upload on a weekly basis. Thank you so much, and hope to see you next week. Bye. Stay safe, stay healthy, and wear a mask.